Hello, 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 and welcome to the first game of Finndeed and Orangepest in the Master League 2022 qualifying number 2. In the north side, playing as the Soviets, is Finndeed. He's running the Partisans tactics, the Guards motor coordination tactics, and the Lend-Lease tactics. His opponent today, Orangepest, is playing the Wehrmacht. He's running Jäger Infantry, Festung Armor, and Lightning War. We'll see what he chooses. We got maybe see that Jäger Command Squad or that Tiger later on, or maybe in the Panzer IVs. But we are playing on Faymoville, but not just any Faymoville, the Master League edition of Faymoville. It has a few changes from the Auto Match version, which is this brick wall here, and some of the cover is a little bit more open around here, so the sight blockers removed around here. And we'll see how the players tackle this map today. So we do have the double engineer as the start for Finndeed, which is going to cap the north side and the south side corner points. In the meanwhile, we do have Orangepest just doing some green cover on the fuel here, making sure that this is secure. Of course, with this line of sight block here, this north side cutoff is quite a lot more safe these days. And then they've also added some line of sight blockers on this house to make it more of a flanking thing rather than outright sit your MG and hope for the best type thing. The conscripts were cut out trying to place some green cover on the munitions cutoff here in the north. Just some small engagements currently, nothing too drastic. The MG42 is going to get some suppression onto the engineers. Or maybe not. Maybe they are behind the green cover. They do have to back up though, because there are conscripts here behind the green brick built wall. So such a strong defensive position for the north side player. Of course, you have it on the same side, on the south side as well. Be interested to see how Orangepest uses the MG on the map. It's just trying to go for that cut off on the fuel, but the Pioneers are here to stop them. In the meanwhile, we do have the MG42 setting up to stop the conscripts from getting the munitions. The engineers kind of getting stuck on their own barbed wire there. Conscripts have come to support their engineers, but the Pioneers are behind green cover. Is there any support? Yes, there is. There's second Grenadier, or third Grenadier rather, come to support them. In the meanwhile, we have the south side being outgrown by the two other Grenadiers. Flamer upgrade onto the engineer. Now the conscript's going to come support them, go for that merge. The Grenadiers can't get too close. Currently the MG42 is trying to cover off the flank, but nothing on the flank right now. The engineer looking a bit low there. He has to merge with the conscripts. In the meanwhile, on the north side, this engagement still happening. The engineers have got the flank on the conscripts and onto the Pioneers rather, and the conscripts around the green cover supporting. The MG42 did move up to get the suppression on towards the engineers, so they're forced back with the conscripts. But it does look like the Finndeed has won the side, this north side. There, this grenadier is going to hold its own. Rifle grenade goes off. Not too much damage. A lot of health damage, rather. Could have been a lot worse there for Finndeed. So MG42 hasn't done too much right now. It's a lot harder to use your MG, at least around the center, because you can't just jump into the building and cut off every section now, right? Kind of have to be a little bit more proactive with it. Again, a mine placed here by the engineers while the conscripts put some green cover on that fuel, but they were caught out, so they do know that there is a mine here. We are going to see sweepers instantly locked in for Orangepest. The 222 is coming out for Orangepest, so we'll see what they can do for him. Of course, the choices for the Doctrine are Jaeger Infantry and Guardsbearer. Both are very, very common choices. There's no Commander Terminator on this map, or on this qualifying, so they can go for whatever they want and still utilize it on later on. There's some suppression onto these conscripts. Rifle grenade goes off. Big damage onto the conscripts, putting them down to very low life and very low models. But they're going to get chased. Fuel going back in the favour of Orangepest. We check a look at the kills quickly. Really in favour of Orangepest right now. Those nice rifle grenades munching on those conscripts. 2-2 being proactive on bullying the conscripts while there's no support for them. But they were going for the M5. Finndeed is. Wants to get that out as soon as possible to upgrade into the quad AA. Does have the munitions to get in as soon as it comes out. And the quad can definitely deal with a 222. The 222 is not very heavily armoured. We don't have snares for the conscripts, so they're just not going to be able to do too much for the 222. The MG42 is going to shoot at the engineers in the building. In the meanwhile, the grenadiers are pushing onto the fuel, like once more, trying to hold it so they can't cap it. Finally getting chased back and losing the fuel, but delaying it enough. Now we have an engineer and the conscript trying to outflank this MG42, but will Orangepest realise? Do you have the quad already upgraded onto the M5? Now it's the M17. Yep, Orangepest realises, but taking a lot of damage, so he is sent packing instantly. And he's just still chilling in the building here, trying to give vision for everything onto the fuel. Do you have the command squad out now? Because the pack is out as well, just coming out. But pack can definitely deal with the M5. The M5, or M17 rather, only needs about 2 shots, I think, to die from a pack. But of course, that M17 is a big threat to that 222. So fuel switching size once again. The guards coming out now for Finndeed. Wants to get them upgraded into those DPs, so they also unlock the button ability for later on. I haven't played in this reworked Faymoville map enough. I played a couple of times, so it's interesting to see how people play this map. Like, with the south side cut off here being a lot more vulnerable than the north side, the Wehrmacht has to be a lot more aware of that. But that being said, a lot of people just tend to go for the fuel anyway. Those pioneers taking a big beating there on the push towards those engineers. The guards jumping on into the building. They do have the DPs being upgraded, so they'll be able to get out some output, damage output there. The pack takes a nice shot onto the M17, but misses the second shot. The Jaeger command squad keeping these conscripts from building some green cover there. Really not a lot of green cover being able to place for Finndeed. Really getting stopped. I mean, he did get it down here, at least. But it's not going to help him for the future. Not unless he caps that again. M17 hasn't done too much right now. I've been keeping about the 2-2, which is great to see. Has to be careful with the pack over here because there's these line of sight blockers. A little bit more open around here. I think they did make some adjustments to the south side, but I haven't been following it too closely. Rifle grenade goes from there, dodged by the guards, but they do take a couple moral losses.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Those rifle grenades really catching Finndeed out a fair bit today. Look at the kills, so much in favour of Orangepest. It's unbelievable. The 222 did go down to... What did it go down to? The guards, it looks like, finished it off. I'm maybe thinking that they retreated, but they did not.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector. Our headquarters is taking enemy fire.
Orangepest is known for his very aggressive playstyle and high APM. See how this plays up for him. We do have a 120 mortar out now for Finndeed. Now, Faymoville is one of those maps that do kind of allow for mortar play. Like, it's actually kind of promoted on this map with how easy it is to defend and how much it can cover on the map. These constants around the green cover should be fine to deal with those grenadiers while they cap the fuel. The fuel constantly switching back and forth from both sides. Now the pack is in a bit of a situation. Does get back up though. We do have some defensive mines being placed by the engineers. Grenadiers once again try and stop these engineers from capping up, but they have to be sent packing because again the guards are here. Though the usage of the grenades have slowed him down to getting these upgrades for his grenadiers. Does have this second one coming out though. Huge defensive box here for the conscripts to sit behind. But the pack is here to deal with that cover real fast. Flamethrower with the M17 suppression is going to force the 8 command squad back. Grenade goes off to get in this white. Get wiped. I'm actually surprised this guy got away. Could have chased with the G43s. Almost getting taken up by the rifle grenade. Once again, getting caught out by the grenade.
The enemy is taking our territory.
But, the map control in the favour of Finndeed currently, and the VPs. Rifle grenade going off. Another big rifle grenade onto the conscripts, and this could be a wipe. The M17 takes a big shot from the pack, but the conscripts may get out. The conscripts do get out, and the pioneers sent pack instead. Pack is trying to deal with all this cover up being built by those conscripts. Honestly, 2 lucky conscripts here. Then 17's going down south to deal with any pushing squads. Gotta keep this on proactive. It's a mobile suppression platform. Hasn't done too many kills, but honestly, it's kind of got warded off by the pack a decent bit. The Panzer IV are now coming out for Orangepest, whereas Finndeed is yet to get tier 4 up. Oh, he's getting it up now. It would help if when I click them, they'll let me pop up. There we go. But he's not too far off our T-34. Of course, he's probably going to aim for that T-34-85. So he's what, 134 I want? T-35. It's definitely the best option against the Panzer. The T-35 is such a good medium tank. So much health in that. No snares for Finndeed yet. Yeah, we don't see any AT currently for Finndeed. He definitely has the option to pick it up, but he may be waiting for the tank. But now that Panzer's here, the only AT he has right now are these guards. M17 suppression the Jaeger command squad, but now the Panzer's coming on. This M17 has to be a bit careful. The guards keeping up with the Panzer, trying to deal with some damage to it. His PTRS is picking up at them. They are sent packing eventually. The M17 are getting a bit close though. Big mortar shot onto the Grenadiers, forcing them back. Very low health. Map control going quite in the favor of Orangepest. They're very red right now. Well, maybe this the micro of Orangepest will be the reason why he wins this. But we'll see. Like the VP's still very neck and neck. The Panzer hasn't done too much right now. To finally have the T-34A5 locked in. So now that T-34A5 is now in the build, this Panzer has to be careful because T-34A5 is more than a match for a standard Panzer IV. Do have a German Wehrmacht mortar. Again, Faymoville being a very good map for mortars. Panzer's coming on in. The guards with the PTRSs are in the building. They're trying to do some damage to it. Now the T-34A5 is out. This Panzer IV is yet to do that much. The M17 still being a nuisance with that suppression.
Vehicles can be marked and targeted.
The 120 mortar, or is this the German mortar now? Well, maybe even both. Big shot there from the Panzer IV, knocking half the squad down. Now the T-34A5's coming down with the support of the guards. Is that a bounce from the T-34A5? What is these T-34A5s doing today? Well, what has the Panzer IV been eating? Grenade on retreat. A bit too early. It was a nice attempt, but a bit too early from Orangepest. It's a nice idea, though. Just needed to wait a little bit longer on that grenade, and they would have got the wipe on the guards. So second Panzer IV now, but it's coming out. But of course, Finndeed is very well aware of that. So he's getting us a first AT gun, the Zis barrage, or Zis gun. Could use that for the Zis barrage as well. I'm actually surprised he didn't get one earlier because the Zis barrage is quite handy to have. But I guess he didn't outright need to use it. Have the MG42 here, but this is like the Zis barrage is great for displacing MGs or big blobs that come at you. Preferably sport weapons. But of course you have the 120 mortar, so I guess you don't absolutely need to rush for the Zis gun with the 120 mortar. If you only want it for the indirect, that is. His Panzer IV is actually in a bit of a state now, but the pack is supporting it, so the T-34A5 cannot chase. Second Panzer IV now coming on up to the front line. The M17 has been caught out. This is a dead M17. No, it's not a dead M17. It dodges. It slivers past that shell from the Panzer. But in the meanwhile, the T-34 is trying to make do with this push for the Panzer. The Panzer actually looking really low, but can't be chased. He got snared. Cheeky snare from the Grenadier there. Getting out very low health. Double pack now on the field for Orangepest. Wouldn't mind seeing a second Pioneer, perhaps. Try and keep these tanks operational. This conscript should be a bye-bye with the G43s. Yep, and bye-bye conscript. Big shot, though, onto the Grenadier from the 120 more. The 120 more only had 2 kills, though, actually. So, not really the best performance, considering it's been out for like 10 minutes or so. Got, of course, a tripwire flare going up the ass of a Jaeger, killing them instantly. The wall of conscripts behind the green wall here. Great defensive position for the north side here. Of course, the conscripts sent packing by the Panzer IV. In the meanwhile, we're just going to have some captures for the other one. The pack is actually outplaced, but hasn't been at least targeted. Oh, there we go. Finally getting chasing after the pack, but a bit late there. Guys are going to cap the north side fuel. Again, like Finndeed lacking that fuel right now. If we look at the fuel differences, it's heavily in favour of Orangepest with a 33 income to 19. And even in the kills, very much in favour of Orangepest. Not even close kills. More than a 2 kill death ratio for the Wehrmacht. The pack is forcing back the T-35. Nice shots from there. Consistent connections. Do you have the veterancy on one of the packs, so it has access to that target weak point? Can definitely catch a tank off guard for that stun.
A squad of pioneers has arrived.
Oh, the officer mortar did get decrewed there.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
There's explosion after explosion right now for the Jaeger, just running up to the front line trying to deal with the infantry. Brave or stupid, but big shots from the double pack moving on up. Luckily that was repaired fast enough. Now the Mem 17 again out of position, going to be caught out, but it doesn't look like it's going to get chased. Meanwhile, the MG42 is going to defend the fuel from the guards that are pushing up. Second, Ziskon is the choice for Finndeed, knowing well aware of the fact that he's got no fuel, so he's going to have to get a second AT gun out. He will have the fuel for a second T-35 very soon if that's the way he's going to go. These Panzers just munching on these infantry trying to do something. But there's another big shot. Could this be a dead squad? This does have G43s, and this is going through the gauntlet. That is a dead squad. Or maybe it's not. Last minute takes him out by conscripts.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Another loss for Finndeed. Not looking great for him. Already behind heavily in kills. He needs to take out one of these Panzers to level himself up a little bit. The M17 doing some drive-by suppression, or trying to at least. The Ziskon's out of position, now getting aggroed by the Grenadiers, but the T-34 is here to cover it off. Pack's coming to take out the M17. The M17 could go down now. Bye-bye M17. Could this be the end of Finndeed?
The enemy has destroyed one of our vehicles.
No, it doesn't look like the Ziskons are in too much peril with the T-34 here. But the fact that he's down like 50 models, he's just bleeding so hard. He'd have to, Orangepest would have to throw pretty badly if he wants to, if Finndeed wants to win. He's got no infantry apart from 2 engineers and their 1 piece of guards. But the elite barrage coming onto the Ziskons now. Forcing that Ziskon to move up. Second T-35 is coming out. But the third Panzer is coming out now for Orangepest. He really needed to take out one of the T-34, one of the Panzers now, because he's already heavily behind in fuel. Do have some defensive mines out and about, but, you know. It's not to say that T-35 isn't any match for Panzer IVs. Two of them can definitely deal with the 3 Panzers, as long as they have support with the ZIS as well, and the guards. But there's no infantry whatsoever for Finndeed, apart from the engineers. Now the T-35 is stuck between 2 Panzers. Orangepest is not that far considering from another Panzer IV. These pioneers been cheeky there, trying to dismantle that mine. Does lose a couple miles in the process though, because of the tank prying on it. Do you have a replacement conscript finally? Gonna get that 7-man mode to get that variance increase. He does have marked target as well, Finndeed does, so he could mark one of these panzers when he goes in. But he really needs to watch out these packs. If he can take out some of these panzers, he can definitely get himself back into this. The T-34 is going in. Mark target has popped. But the packs are here to support. But this should be a dead panzer. Maybe not. The packs have warded off it. No, nice attack ground through the sight blocker, wiping out the Panzer IV. Nice shot from Indeed. And another big shot from the packs onto the Panzer. Or rather, Ziskans.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Finndeed may not be out of this game yet. And if he's it, if he is, he's going to make Orangepest bleed as much as possible. Of course, we can see a replacement Panzer IV, but we do have Tier 4 being built. There's not really any population, but the T-34 has come in for the Panzer. Does get snared by the Grenadiers, so they can't chase.
Enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
A League barrage is popping on down south, so they can't get the capture.
We are losing a sector.
Engineers with balls of steel, but 3 of them do get knocked out in the end there. They were on the vodka, hoping to capture the zone, but no, not today. They are in the throwing positions, the guards are. Going for the button, perhaps, no? But, no, just get munched on. I was just surprised the T-34 didn't do anything. Do have Vet 2 now on one of the Panzers, meaning that it has its armored skirts. Resistance are rotating towards the sound of that Panzer IV. Has been caught out this Panzer, but the first shot did miss. Resistance have yet to be activated, or they have, but very slow. Does get the mine goes up, the teller mine goes up onto the T-34. This could be a dead Panzer, or T-34 if the Panzer comes in. The snare goes off, and bye-bye T-34. Nice teller here. I didn't even see this teller mine here by Orangepest, but very nice placement.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Really not looking good for Finndeed once more. The kill difference as well. Almost 100 kills.
5 points. The enemy is taking our territory.
Panzer IV completely outflanking the Siskins, and this could be game for Finndeed.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
If these Siskins go down, they definitely will be dead. We're out of this. Bye-bye Siskin. I think this has got to be game. Yep. Now that Panzer IV can just wipe out those Siskins, and there's not much he can do about this, Finndeed, that is to say. Really not. And honestly, the bleed that Finndeed has been having really just has not helped him at all in this game. Losing those squads on retreat was just maybe just being a bit too greedy there. Of course, nice placement from Orangepest. Nice for the Telemine, wiping that T-34. I mean, Orangepest can go for whatever he wishes. I think this looks to be game. I don't know if he's still in this. It looks like, yeah, there's a barricade stuff. So I think game one goes to Orangepest. There we go. GG to Orangepest, and nice attempt from Finndeed. Oh god, it was an interesting game. Like, there was times at the start it felt like it was even, but then it kind of like over time it just felt like Orangepest was getting the better of Finndeed, especially with the wipes, losing the conscripts. And maybe he could have gone for a little bit more aggression with his C-85s when he had only one Panzer. But that being said, the dual packs are scary to deal with. But the engagements weren't really in the favour of Finndeed. There were like 67 kills to 155 kills. That's just pain. But it was a really nice attempt at least. Alrighty, we are going into game 2. It's going to start in about 4 minutes. But right now it is Orangepest 1, Finndeed 0. But honestly, like, speaking as well, like you have the 120 more that didn't really perform that well in my opinion. Like 10 minutes in and only getting like 1 kill and barely any veterancy. I don't think it was even Vet 1. I could be wrong about that though. Alrighty, and welcome back to Orangepest versus Finndeed. And once again, we are on Faymoville, the Master League edition. In the north side, playing as the Wehrmacht, or rather, the Soviets, is Orangepest. He's running the Guards motor coordination, the airborne troops, and the Lend-Lease. In the south side, his opponent, Finndeed, playing as the Wehrmacht. He himself is running strategic reserves, German mechanized, and spearhead doctrine. Now, we haven't seen any assault grenadiers, so we're probably not going to see strategic reserves. Unless he really wants that Panzer IV J. Could see the dreaded Tiger in this game if he goes for Spearhead. Might be interested. Oh, we'll see. For Orangepest, we could see those T-30 ferries once more. Those SVT conscripts, those powerful things, and or the M4C Sherman, which is essentially the 76 Sherman from the American side. We do have a first engagement here in the center with the Pioneers, but they have to back up because the conscripts are behind the green cover here. The engineers just going to barbed wire off the screen cover so that they can't be used against them, but they've got grenadiers and MG42 aggressively attacking the north side fuel wood. No fuel for either side right now, but Orangepest is locking down that fuel in the north.
It's done.
We have the point. We have taken it. Under fire!
Have the Pioneers trying to capture the north side cut-off, munitions cut-off here. Should be fine against the Engineers. They're going to get it. No one else to support them.
Supply lines
They're
are
just going
being
to capture them back up.
We have more conscripts at our
In the
disposal.
meanwhile, we do have the MG42 having to reposition because the conscript jumped into the house here, the brick house here.
That is how you stack sandbags, comrades.
The conscript did go capture the north side. Oh, I guess this is the south side fuel.
This now belongs to the people and workers of
Once
the
more, we have
Soviet Union.
interesting split in terms of the resources. Grenadiers backing up, not wanting to deal with the conscripts behind this green cover here. Such a strong position to be. So they're going to reposition and attack these engineers cap in the south, or the mid 3P.
Area secure.
Of course, we've seen in the last game that Finndeed didn't really take the best engagements. Honestly, he was using a lot of infantry to those rifle grenades. Now he is the one with those rifle grenades, and it'll be curious to see if he can capitalize on that just as much as Orangepest did.
Our opponents are seizing a sector. Hold your positions. Do not shoot. Our lines of supply are disrupted.
Yeah, the conscripts are trying to aggro onto the grenadiers, but the grenadiers doing some decent damage to the engineer.
Squad for deck! The enemy has us ranged. And cover me. That means you run.
So we get some suppression onto those conscripts, send them back to base.
Fight for our brother.
We're already not looking too good for Finndeed here. Not really getting as good of a start as what Orangepest did against him.
Workers unite! Man down!
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Run, comrades!
Conscripts are some packing though. He's going to get some fuel once more. Taking up the kills right now. Not too bad for Finndeed. Wants to keep ahead.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
Gotta make sure, I know, like, including me, but a lot of players, including me, always forget about these corner ones at times. But it's great to capture these ones just because they're still resources, but, you know, they're providing the opponent with a lot of resources over time.
The bunker has been converted to a
The Flame is going to try and do some damage to the grenadiers, but they're not in cover, so they're not doing too much damage. At least not before they get completely shut off. They do manage to get burst off near the end, forcing those grenadiers back and wipe the couple models out. The MG42 wasn't able to set up in time. Actually, the map control has swung back into the Wehrmacht's favour. No side has actually chosen a doctrine right now.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
But based on the selection that Orangepest did, we don't think we're going to see the airborne troops. Usually with airborne troops, you're going for 4 conscripts to make use of those SVTs. We do have the M5 that's going to upgrade to the M17, and it's honestly been a lot more popular these days. The M17, that is. Like, the quad is just such a strong thing to have. Suppression, it's like this as a suppression platform. And can munch on infantry as well. So it's not the worst thing to go for the M17 these days. Especially if you're not going for something that's heavy on the munitions early on. We do get a snare onto the M17 though, already. The M17 being the upgraded version of the M5, that is.
forces are neutralizing a sector.
MG42 going to capture the south side fuel. I think he has really been behind in fuel on this match already. Hasn't really been testing the north side or fuel, south side fuel, whereas he's trying to contest this, but even then he keeps losing it. And the map control as a whole has not been wholeheartedly in his favour for a long time. Though he's definitely got the map control right now. Getting that snare on that M17 delaying that, you know, the potential of it, at least until the 2-2 could come out. This is quite a late 2-2 as well, considering the M17 style, because the M17 can munch on the 2-2. I'll get in the pack now, but for a while now, this M17 has free reign. So Orangepest has opted into getting the snares around 8 minutes in. Not something Finndeed felt like he needed to do. But it's never a bad thing to get the snares. Can always catch someone off guard, but of course Finndeed's very well aware that he might possibly be dealing with this. Ura probably knows that he's got snares at this point. The Grenadiers looking really low, the M17 munching on it. 17-17 already seen a lot more action than what we've seen on the previous game. The 2-2 is going to take up the barbed wire onto this cover. Very nice from Finndeed. Wants to make sure that his green cover is always operational. Really don't see this from too many people. Sometimes they just elect to build more cover behind it instead of. Those pioneers are sent packing by the M17. They should be fine, but they're going to take a bit of damage on the retreat. The guards are coming out now with their DP. Has yet to be upgraded. Do you have a telemine here? That's a very aggressive telemine, actually. Does have a sweeper, so he could catch it if he does send his engineers around to maybe just try and cap the fuel and might spot it. Orangepest plays. This M17 keep him proactive, try and get the suppression onto the infantry. The pack is moving on up low now, so you have to be careful with the M17. That M17 only takes 2 shots to die. We do have a second MG for Finndeed. It's a bit interesting because the only second MG may be countered by the 120 mortar. I'm sure Finndeed knows that his guard's motive with seeing those guards. Or maybe he doesn't. But that 2-2 trying for those attack grounds through the line of sight blocker there. Trying not to take the damage from the M17. I'm not sure if those sweepers actually spotted this right now. So this is in a very dangerous spot if it isn't caught out. Tanks very much go this direction. So the 2-2 is trying to deal with this green cover on this fuel here. In the meanwhile, these Grenadiers are getting into a situation. Molotov goes off, but they're already out of there. Should be fine though. The conscripts aren't chasing. In the meanwhile, in the middle, the guards have to backtrack not to be countered by the, or flanked rather, by the guards. The guards seemingly trying to take up the green cover here with their PTRSs. And now this M70 has gone in to take up the 2-2. Great timing, there's no support for it. The pack is nowhere to be seen, 2-2 down, and the M17 will get out. In the meanwhile, we have the MG42 suppressing the engineers in the north. Once again, still the set telemine still around here. The Ura coming on in to get the flank onto the MG42. Going to try and jump into the building, perhaps, so that the no one else can. Yep. And meanwhile, the Grenadiers are going to defend their cut-off from the conscripts. So far, it's looking to be a decent game. Finndeed doing a lot better in terms of kills. Of course, the Wehrmacht a lot more potent in that regard. I mean, he's doing just as almost as well as what Orangepest did towards him, at least around this time. Take a look, we do have battle phase 2 being escalated to now, but Finndeed, and it's not too far. It's about halfway to a Panzer IV. In the meanwhile, we do have a tier 4. I eventually got it right. Good gravy. English is gone from me. But yes, the tier 4 has been built by the Soviets. Yes, some people are saying that this is an Allied favoured map. I mean, considering the Wehrmacht has won already. The problems with this map for the south side was the line of sight blockers. I think they did adjust it though. But it was the line of sight blockers in comparison from here and here, right? The M17 have to back up to the pack. But yeah, like the pack is kind of more awkward to use around this area. And that was the problem for the Wehrmacht, or the south side. So the MG42 has repositioned, but they're just going to get Molotoved.
Our opponents are seizing a
The engineers not really the best thing. It's only engineers, I guess. But the engineers still behind green cover, doing some damage to them.
Awaiting orders. Capture complete.
Take a look at the army values right now. It's actually quite neck and neck, to be honest. Yeah, it's absolutely neck and neck. All the Grenadiers upgraded with the MG42s.
our sector.
We get better every day.
Molotov goes off onto the Grenadiers in the green building though, so that building isn't going to be able to use anymore. At least for now. The guys do get suppressed because one guy was dangling out, but the M17 coming on in. There is a threat from the snag, though. But I wasn't able to get there in time.
We are losing a sector.
Well, so far, still very neck and neck. Look at the VPs really haven't gone down so far, but we've already seen this in the previous game. Guys, do drop. What is that? That is a PTRS. Not as bad as it would have been if it was a DP. He's going to pick it with the Grenadier. So that is an anti-tank Grenadier. Big shot for the 120 onto the Grenadiers. Shouldn't go down. No. But now that 120 is on the field, these MGs actually have to be careful. Now, this is the problem with double MG on this map, because you kind of have to expect a mortar, especially if you're going against Car's motor. As soon as you see double MG, you go 120 mortar, and you can really punish them from going double MG. Yeah, it's an interesting choice to picking up with the Grenadier. Felt, I guess he didn't want them to get it with another squad. The Orangepest, that is. But it does lower the damage of the Grenadiers, partially. There's Telemine still in a very dangerous spot, and there's now the tanks are coming out. The T-35A5 coming out. You never know if this could wipe out the tank, or rather put in a position to be wiped. I don't think we've seen any mines from Orangepest, though I could be wrong about that.
A peg gun is ready for orders. The enemy has broken our supply lines.
So this Panzer IV coming out against the T-35 has to be a little bit careful. Brent is sent packing by the conscripts trying to cover. The M17 getting a nice push onto the pack gun. The pack gun in peril now, and everything's getting really out of position for Finndeed. Pack goes down. Isn't able to steal it though. Throws a Molotov so he can't. So he can't pick it up without taking too much damage. The suppression coming into effect, so they can't pick it up anyway. Snare goes off. The pack is here. The T-Pans are coming out now. Could this be a dead T-34? The flame seemingly taking out, or maybe it was the PTRS. I'm actually not sure what took out the, what's it called it then. I don't know if they targeted them. The pack trying to deal with the screen cover here. So the conscripts are sent back in.
Anti-tank gun is ready for action.
We do have a Zis gun now for Orangepest. Be interested to see what Finndeed does with this manpower he's gaining. Like, second Pioneer, second AT gun, a mortar. There's a few choices for him. Oh, we're just reinforcing these infantry that are dying.
Attempting to steal our sector.
Second pack might not be a half bad idea. Yep, he does go for the second pack, so definitely the best choice I think against a T-35.
Anti-tank gun has arrived.
Then maybe he could go for a mortar after. Definitely think a mortar wouldn't be half bad either against on this map, especially with all the positions that he has to deal with. The VP still neck and neck, honestly. Taking out the kills. Army values neck and neck. Kills in favour of Finndeed, but that's to be expected with the Wehrmacht. Honestly, I'm liking both players' chances currently with the builds. The VPs are heavily in favour of Orangepest on the map, with all three captured. So that'll be so ticking down for Finndeed. Now the M17 coming on in to try and bully the pack once more. The Panzer IV should be here to support. The pack is in real bad danger now though, but the Panzer IV should be here. The Zis gun coming to hold off the Tired. And my game is freezing a bit there, sorry about that. Just code things right. Mark targets him on, the Panzer IV took a big shot. But of course the T-34 is choosing to deal with the pack. The second pack trying to get into position to take a shot on the T-34A5. Does get connection, but does lose the second pack. Not what you want to see. Maybe you have to replace that now, but there is a lot of losses here for Finndeed. PTR's been dropped here by the guards once again. Molotov onto the MG42, that's forced back, not going to get the suppression properly onto the infantry. A Zis barrage, the conscript could go down, but Zis barrage trying to get onto this juicy targets here, but are missing. They do move out of the way. Now the Zis gun is in a situation where it has to reposition, but the M17 is to cover off. He's going to get the snare off onto the M17. The pack is here to support. One more shot was needed, or maybe two. But no, not going to get it today.
The sector is at risk.
Second T-35 coming out for Orangepest, and only one pack and a 1 Panzer IV for Finndeed. It's not looking good. I think you really need to get a more AT, like second,
Enemy still has 300 points.
a second AT gun. Mine's still here, but no one really playing around the area right now, so that telemine is just useless. He's got quite a bit of munitions, and he's locked in the German mechanized, which is an interesting choice. Might be interesting while he's got a bit of time to build some telemines around, a telemine or two around here. But of course his pioneers aren't in the position to do so. The mine did go off onto the T-54, so that's going to delay that, but there's nothing really to capitalize it right now, so I think he should be fine. Orangepest should be.
Taking what we have secured.
The Grenadiers in the brick building in the manor is going to get forced back by the Molotov and the M17. They are going to try and dodge out of the way though, but they take a big pounding from those vet-free conscripts. Grenade onto the conscripts, not doing too much damage. That's sent back without too much losses. And now this Grenadier in danger. That's a wipe now. Slowly crumbling, but the M17 trade-off. It's not the end of the world, though losing a Grenadier is always a pain. We still set up Orangepest into a great position. Once again, the cover getting taken up by the Panzer in the center. It's not too far off another Panzer IV, but it does need that manpower. I do have marked target coming on in onto the Panzer IV. The Packs are trying to defend it, but the mortars are getting some nice shots onto the Packs. He still knows where that Panzer is right now. So Katusha is the choice. I actually think this is a fine choice by Orangepest. Can really catch out those packs that are usually working together. He's got those T-35 to cover him off as well as the Cisco to protect him from any dives. So definitely not the worst option there for a Orangepest. Just tank shooting the infantry around. Packs are moving up to try and get some shots. T-54 there. T-54 very well aware of that. Is moving out. The Katusha now coming out. Really wants a good impact first shot. Especially when these Ziskons are, these packs are working together. These packs aren't going to have a good idea, or good time rather, with this Ziskon and this Katusha. Does look like he's going to get out of it though. But it's a clusterfuck right now for Finndeed. Package is trying to escape while getting aggroed by the conscripts. So the first barrage does nothing right now. It was a nice attempt, but they did react just before they fired. We do have the delayed fuse shots coming from the 120. The 120 going on 6 kills. Grenade goes off. Big shot onto those conscripts, or big rifle grenade rather. The whistle of those delayed fused mortar shells. Ah, I have nightmares about that.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
It's just not getting the targets. Stug is the choice for Finndeed. Not the worst choice. You know, trying to help the Panzer deal with these T-34A5s. And we all love a Stug gameplay, right? I'm never opposed to seeing a Stug in a tournament setting. Big shot onto those engineers, trying to flank the MG42. So now this target, the tank is marked.
We are losing a sector.
Looks to be okay though. Well, the big push coming in from Orangepest might finish this game. Big shots from the Panzer though. Stug coming out, Pax open fire. This could be a dead T-34. Bye-bye T-34, but the Katusha barrage onto the Pax to wipe them. They are down. Everything is going down right now. So the Pax is down, the T-35 is down, the Ziskin are trying to finish off the Pax. And the Stug is here. Those Pax are dead. So a bit of a misplay with sending this T-34 up there to get killed. Didn't need to die, but nice Katusha barrage onto the Pax. Does get to wipe on one of them. The other one is alive. But not the greatest trades ever for Orangepest. This is going to barrage the engineers on the point. Big shot there. Not one to take its chances. Going to get sent packing. But the VPs are held by Finndeed, but the map control is kind of split. A bit more in favour of Finndeed though, of Orangepest though. The 124 spat by the Grenadiers, but the Grenadiers don't want to take their chances on the front line, so they're going to run back to get some heals. Lots of fuel for Orangepest, but no manpower for any vehicle right now. Could see another vehicle from Finndeed as well. He hasn't teched up to Battle Phase 4 or anything, so it'll be just either Stug or a Panzer 4. Or if he's feeling naughty, he might go for an Ostwind or suicidal, one might say.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Mark Titans onto the Panzer 4 now.
Now we can see them before they see us.
There's this gun trying to get up to the front line to help deal with it. But the Mark Tiger is putting some threat onto the Panzer, so it doesn't want to move in too deeply. It's going to wait it off. Katusha barrage coming onto the MG42, wiping the MG42 crew out. Oh, wait, maybe not. Maybe the one last guy go out. No, obliterated with the MG42. Completely destroyed. Rogue grenade goes off though. On what actually? Yeah, the Panzer 4 is the choice. Are these just... is he cancelling the rifle grenades? Yes. He's been cancelling the rifle grenades.
We have 100 points remaining.
The second or the third, I guess, T-35 coming into the build for Orangepest. VP is again in the favour of Orangepest. Not looking good for Finndeed. They're slowly bleeding. It's been bleeding for some time. Yeah, just looking at the side difference. It's just chaos land. And in comparison to the light. There. Just, you enter the right side and it's just death.
We must stiffen our resolve. We are down to 75 points.
It's a bad time to be a support weapon on the right side of the map or the south side. Yeah, the sun and the moon. Rifle grenade going off. No, just a bait again. He's baiting me. Okay, he's baiting me and I don't like it. This gun does get taken out by the Grens and the Sturg. I like to say the Sturg, even though it wasn't. Let's just give some credit to the Sturg. Rifle grenade finally goes off though. This time wasn't a bait. Sturg and the Panzer IV coming on in now. The T-54 in the bad side, but that misses. The double miss. T-54 coming down. Now can the Sturg get out? The Sturg is just dangling itself, trying to get out. The packs are moving on sport. The T-34 is coming on in. Now the Panzer IV gets out, but the Sturg is dead. The pack is just putting some pain in the carcass of that Sturg. Engineer did go down at some point for Orangepest. Not for Orangepest, for Finndeed. So he has to get the replacement. The chaos is it's just so much chaos happening on right now in this match. Future barrage on to the MG and the pack gun. I think it is going to miss the pack gun though. The MG42 sent pack in. But now the Katusha wipes out the pack, forced back by the conscripts. And I think this is going to be GG for Finndeed, or rather for Orangepest. He's going to be winning this, it looks like. Though that being said, the VPs have been held by Finndeed by Captain North and now the South, delaying what he can. He is getting his replacement grenadier once again. Looking at the kills, still in favour of Finndeed. But the VPs, he really needs to get a winning push. He needs to just finish this soon, because he hasn't got that long. They weren't able to capture it. He has to jump into the building to ward off the guard. The guards throw a grenade, but he does dodge with the grenadiers, so the guards are heading back. In the meanwhile, they do get the decap on the mid VP, but the north side being captured by the engineers. The grenadiers are going once again for the fuel. T-44 is on patrol here though, so the grenadiers are going to take a beating from this T-34. Yeah, who knows? The command tank, the command panzer may be all he needs to win this game. They look for a hero, and a command panther, or panzer rather, is the hero. Don't insult the command panzer, chat. You never insult the command panzer. But the Wehrmacht are pushing back the conscripts.
The peg gun is ready for orders.
Scott can bounce it. This is the counter-attack of the Wehrmacht right now. Whether it'll pay off though, the pack and the Ziskum with the T-34 covering up the centre. But they're not stopping, the Wehrmacht are coming. There's one way to put it, Gami. Here comes the Panzers though. One misses. Can't blame me, he's not vetted. Attacks of the Mark Tide coming in. Now the Panzer 4 may go down. The Panzer 4 is yet to go down. It's got, but it does get taken out. Snare could go onto the T-35. Now the pack is coming in. The Panzer 4 coming to seek the target. The pack did go down to the Grenadiers. The Katyusha are in danger now. The Katyusha getting taken up by the Panzer 4 while the Zisk can try and do some damage to the Panzer. The pack is moving on up. The Air 120 mortar goes down and get taken up the pack. Big shots from the pack. Dealing some damage to the Panzer. I can't keep track of the one pack on the left side, one pack on the right side. Zisk gun. Oh my god, that's so chaotic. They're confusing me with all these weapon switches. But a recap on that engagement, the Panzer 4 getting taken out by the pack with a marked target, and meanwhile the Katyusha was died by the Panzer 4 getting wiped out. The T-34-85 was snared by the Grens, but wasn't able to get finished off by the Panzer 4. But in all that kerfuffle, there was no real capture for the points. Though that being said, they are unit suppression the guards on the point.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Do you have a double cap now for Finndeed? But there are conscripts capping the south side. And meanwhile, the mid VP is getting captured by some Grens. But a nice shot from the T-35 doing some good damage to the Grenadiers on the mid VP. Do you have the Grenadier blob rotating down south to deal with these engineers and the conscripts on the VP and the munitions? Just looking at this right side, or the south side rather, just indirect hell. The Command Panzer 4 just has a commander in the hatch with a boombox for morale. That's what Command Panzer is. True story. The AT guns going on I infantry, the anti-infantry duty right now. They're very much just trying to hold these VPs so they can just not bleed out so much. Finndeed doing quite well trying to get himself this win. But will he get this win? Or will Orangepest finish him off? The other second T-34, or I guess there's the fourth one by now. I have lost track how many T-34s and Panzers I've been out right now in this game. Finndeed right now needs to put some more pressure on towards the Orangepest, because if he loses the momentum that he's gaining, or trying to gain, he will not win this. And the Zisk gun, or the pack rather, missing the T-34 allowed for the snare to not, well, not crit.
The enemy is taking our territory. Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Big shot from the pack onto the T-35. Just need to keep these vetted up for that stun. A stun is very useful to have against a tank that overextends.
Now we can see them before they see us. Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Panzer 4 trying to stop the engineers from decapping. He is pushing them off the thing. Very nice from Finndeed, forcing the engineers off the point, not getting the capture, but the T-35 now coming in here. The second Panzer IV coming to reinforce its counterpart. Really nice from Finndeed forcing that up. But now the T-35 is going to capture mode. But now the Panzers are diving in. Big shots from the pack and the T-34. Taking out the Panzer IV. Now he gets out.
We have lost a Panzer. The enemy is
Pack is going to go down to the T-34. Looks like, yeah, now the T-34 is showing the rear off the Panzer. The Panzer's blitzing, maybe. No, it's not. Just getting the tank priority on. Takes out the T-34, but then now the other T-34 is here. Will he blitz himself out? The T-34 does miss. In the meanwhile, we are trying to get the Zisklins coming up. Pack's taken out once again. The misses again from the T-34. The snare on the T-35. Could the Panzer finish it off? No, he's going to opt to back out because there is a Zisklin covering it off.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Finndeed trying his best to keep this himself in this game, but holding his VPs and doing a great job. But this grenadier could go down to these conscripts, and it does get taken out. Not looking good, even once more for Finndeed.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Also, in that meanwhile, it looks like he lost his pack. And this pack wasn't taken out. Big rifle grenade there, wiping out 4 models onto those guards. They do get the decal, but they could get wiped here. Not opting in for the rifle grenade. Oh, never mind, it does. But a bit too far. Or a bit too early, rather. Let's go for a normal T-34 this time. Realizing he can try and finish this game, perhaps, so he gets a tank out as soon as possible. He just has no manpower. That's the problem for Orangepest right now. He has the fuel with no manpower.
We are losing a sector.
VPs, though, still ticking for Finndeed. Has captured these points. Grenadiers are going to jump into the green building here, or the brick building here, to try and ward off these conscripts. They're going to go for the Molotov, perhaps? No, there's no munitions, actually. Or rather, no munitions for Orangepest. There's this barrage force about the MG42, so can't capture there. Now the T-34s are coming on in for the Panzer. First shot misses, though. Could go for that ram. No. T-34 bounces. This Panzer IV bouncing every shot, dodging the rest.
Enemy forces are securing our territory. We have a new Panzer IV.
Packs to open fire into the T-35. The thing is, Finndeed is still not out of this game. He can definitely win this. He just needs to pick his push timing right. And if he gets a good push, he needs to do it sooner. With these tanks piling up, this could go wrong for him.
The territory is out of contact.
Orangepest just need to overextend once. And I think Finndeed can still win this. Orangepest has the power of anime, people in chat are saying. I mean, anime is a very strong thing to have on your side. I mean, you're not wrong. He does have the power of anime behind him. Orangepest does. But will the power of anime be enough for him to completely win this game? But they are ticking the points down slowly. He really needs to push soon, Finndeed, that is. Say, maybe Finndeed needs a bit of that anime on his side.
New anti-tank gun has arrived.
Big shots from the pack, or the Ziskin rather, and the teeth for... I've been saying pack a lot on the left, on the Orangepest side, because he did have a pack, and now it's just ruined me. It's been one hell of a game, though. Finndeed not giving up at him at all, and really just hitting Orangepest hard, even when he's so far behind. Now the big push coming in from Orangepest. Snares coming on him. This could be game. Yep, T-34 blocked by the other by Panzer, blocking by the T-34. That was just outright spread out. The ram coming on him. Gets taken out by the thing, by the Panzer. T-34 down. And the GG pushes here. Nice attempt from Finndeed. Very great to see him trying his best comeback in this game, but this looks to be game. Just a clusterfuck in the mid there.
Get out of here! Retreat!
Honestly, that was just... yeah. No words to describe how much that was a kerfuffle. the AT ward here now.
I fear we are losing. With 10 points remaining.
Right now it is Orangepest 1, Finndeed 0, but it looks to be Orangepest winning this. So Orangepest 2, Finndeed 0. Referee dodged by the conscripts on the north side. And yeah, there's another wipe. I'm not sure if has he left that? Has it done all done now? There we go, playback. But GG to both players. I think Finndeed did great considering he was behind. Like, he really tried to get himself back in that game. There was so many opportunities that he almost tipped the whole thing into his favor by taking out those tanks. Really nice pushes, but the Soviet late game is so strong to deal with that if you don't finish them, they finish their tanks, they just replace them instantly. And that's kind of what happened. Plus, every time he'd push, he would still lose a tank himself. So it's a lot harder for him to replace his tanks than it is for the Soviets to, especially when you have 485 fuel stored up for Orangepest. Take the kills quickly. Really in favour of Finndeed, but again, VPs just weren't in the favour of him. But nice attempt from them. Great game from both players.